Hey guys, welcome to the Positive Experience Podcast, where we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly in living your best life. Today's segment is on the Hard Slog, where we shine the light on small local businesses. Welcome to the Positive Experience Podcast. Today, the segment is on the Hard Slog, putting the spotlight on small local businesses in our area doing great work. Today, I've got Stewy, the snake catcher, with me. G'day, Stewy. How are you?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Good, man. Good, thank you. So, mate, we're going to dive in. I'm from the health world. I don't deal too much with reptiles. So, tell us a little bit about your business and what you're up to, big fella.
All right. So our business is pretty much saving reptiles and saving people from each other. So if you have an unwanted reptile, like most people ring for venomous snakes, if you've got a reptile that's on your property or in your house or anywhere near where anyone is, the fear of snakes means that I'm a much wanted man. So we come to your house or business or wherever location, and we remove those reptiles safely and release them back into the wild away from people.
Mate, so many places to go from here, but where my mind goes to is how you got into this business. Tell me about young Stewy and what happened.
Growing up, we were always out camping, fishing, hunting, and we always came across reptiles. And from a young age, I was always fascinated by them, even though my parents were really scared of them. So while they were off doing their thing, I'd go and flip rocks and, pick logs up. And, sometimes we found lizards, sometimes we found snakes. And eventually, it got too much for me and I wanted to keep them. I wasn't allowed to keep them. So when I turned 18 and moved out of home, I was legally allowed to get my first snake without my mum cracking the shits at me too much.
Gotcha. So there was no, regular suburban family. No one grew up with any sort of pets apart from dogs and cats and things.
We had plenty of pets, just never reptiles.
Gotcha.
Occasionally, while I was at school, occasionally we'd go out and look for a few lizards and snakes and that. And I had a collection hidden in my room. I had a couple of tiger snakes, little baby tiger snakes, and a brown snake that I'd caught, on my travels, and I'd hidden them in my room. And then one day, my mum went in my room and found them, and Jesus, she nearly died.
Me too, I'd reckon. So tell me about those early days. Are you born and bred around Werribee Way, or are you a country boy?
So I was actually born in New South Wales in Fairfield, or Smithfield, I think it was, and came over here at a young age. I think 3 years. Dad bought a house in Sunshine. Was there for a couple of years, and then actually moved to Wyndham Vale. I think it was Werribee back then, but the zones had changed a little bit. And I'm actually I actually bought the house that we moved into 32 years ago.
Wowzers! What a story there.
So, yeah. So we when we moved to this house, we then moved. Obviously, my old man, the family expanded, and the old man needed a bigger house to keep us all in. So we moved to that one, and then I bought this house when it came up for sale. I just had to have it.
Man, congratulations! Keep it in the family. So
that's it.
So you've been in Wyndham Vale. You had just this inkling where you really liked dealing with the reptiles. When did you have the aha moment and you thought, man, there's something here, I could make something of it?
All right. So that moment was when I finally turned 18 and moved out of home. I was in the market to buy a snake, and so I went to the local pet shop, which was in Hoppers Crossing at the time, Reptiles Australia. Or Australian Reptiles, I think it was, Australian Reptiles. And I actually spoke to the old owner, not the first owner that opened it, Matt, and he was a snake catcher. And speaking to him, I got chatting, and he could tell that I was passionate, and he asked me to go and catch a snake with him. And from that moment on, I was hooked. He taught me everything that I know today, and that was, I think, that was nearly 11 years ago now, or 12 years ago. So I helped him out for a year or so. And once I was confident, then I got licensed myself. And, here I am today, still doing it 10 years later.
Man, that's awesome, Stuart. I love hearing these stories of like the master and the apprentice model. It's like you're a chippy, you know. You had the master.
Yeah, exactly.
And
exactly. Well, Matt actually he stopped catching snakes. He went to pursue another career, but there was about 9 months in there after he'd left. There was 9 months where he was out of work, so he actually came back to work for me to catch snakes for me. So it done a full circle. I worked for him at the start, and then he worked for me towards the end there.
Jeez, mate, you're 2 from 2 here. So you had the house situation, and then now you got the business situation. We'll see what the third one's a charm. So just on that, right? So you've been in the game 11 years now. What would be like a key tip or a hack for like a normal person? I'm just a normal suburbs guy. If I come across a snake, what would be the main do's and don'ts that you'd recommend before we give you a buzz?
All right. So the first thing, obviously, you need to do is remain calm. Okay. Snakes aren't killing machines. They're not going to attack you and charge you. All right. They're not magpies. Magpies swoop you. Snakes are more scared of you than you are of them. So what we ask people is just to remain calm and give the snake plenty of room. All right. Now, there's not really much more that you can do legally or safely, because if you try and kill the snake, it's illegal, and 85% of people that get bitten are trying to kill the snake. So what we ask is you just give plenty of room, warn anybody around. So if you're at a local park and there's people and kids playing, just let everybody know that there's a snake, and keep an eye on what that snake does and where it goes. You know, while you call up, and it doesn't have to be me. There's plenty of snake catchers around. But while you call the catcher and you're waiting for the catcher, it's the best to keep your eye on the snake from a safe distance, okay? Because they can disappear in plain sight.
Gotcha. Thanks for that. That's awesome information. So again, I'm playing this role of being like a normal suburbs guy with soft hands. Don't deal with the snakes. So what would be the misconception I might have is that the brown snakes, like which are the deadliest ones? Which ones should you keep a close eye on?
I think you should keep a close eye on all snakes. In Victoria or in southern Victoria, any snake that you come across is going to be venomous, so potentially dangerous. All right, up in Queensland, further up in the tropical, we get pythons and, your common tree snakes and everything, that can't kill you. Down here, if it bites you, there's a possibility you could die.
Okay, geez. So very serious. Where would you say,
very serious.
In the Wyndham Council area, which is where we operate and where we live,
yep.
Where would you say the hotspots are? Is it like around about Werribee River? I'm thinking out loud. Like, where would you say? Where are the hotspots?
It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter where you are in Australia. You are never further away than 300 metres from a snake at any one time.
Okay. Food for thought. I didn't know that.
Right, so where you are right now, I can almost guarantee that there's going to be a snake within 250 to 300 metres of your location right now.
Okay.
You might not see it. And a lot of people go their whole lives without seeing a snake. But they are around. They're everywhere.
Okay. So we're not looking to put this as a to be fearful of it. I think it's important to understand that.
No, it's definitely not a fear, mate. Our job, and this is the thing we do. I mean, we started off catching snakes, obviously to help people, and we've expanded. We now go to schools. We go, we do birthday parties. We bring reptiles to people to educate them so they don't fear them, because it's all up here. If you're brought up to hate snakes, and it doesn't have to be snakes, it could be anything, spiders, snakes, whatever. The second you see one, that fear instills inside you, and you pass that fear on to everybody else around you. All right. So what we want to try and, what we're trying to do is to put people's mind at ease and, make people realize that snakes aren't killing machines. And more people die from dog attacks each year than they do snake attacks.
Thanks for that, Stewy. It's really comforting to hear. It's true what you're saying. The fear just breeds more fear. I'm with you.
Absolutely.
So, all right, let's backtrack a little bit, and if we talk about the actual business, like how many in the team? Like, how do you organize your week so you know Stewy knows where he's got to be at every single point?
I'm on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. There's no organisation. There's just, I don't know how many times I've fought with the missus because she wants to go and do something, and the phone rings, and I jump to it, and she says to me all the time, she goes, if I was a customer of yours, she goes, I'd get shit done straight away. She goes, but I have to wait 6 months. She goes, but if somebody rings you, you're off and you're out the door, without even looking back. So there's no organisation at all. It's just, we're on call 24/7. I've got a team. And, the team, it's not a full-time team. I'm full-time. I'm full-time. My partner, Crystal, has just gone through the process. She's now got her snake catching license, and that's a story in itself. She could never even walk into a pet shop when I first met her that had snakes there. So she now catches snakes for me as well. So it's taken a lot of hard work, but slowly. She couldn't be in the same room as a snake, and now she does birthday parties and pulls snakes out and catches venomous snakes and everything. So a lot of hard work's gone into that. But I've got a couple of people, part-timers. There's a couple that, if they're at work, they'll drop everything and come out to catch a snake if I ring them.
Awesome. So I think you might be 3 from 3 there. You got the boss on the snake's caper with you too.
Yep. Yeah, well, I have to keep her on side, because if I can't keep her on side, then I don't get what I need and what I want. So...
So, you've touched on this. I just want to address it directly. So, is there a philosophy that you have with snakes? Like you're saying, like, don't let fear breed more fear. Is this because you've grown to love them since a young fella and you just want to clean up the misconception?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, if you don't know, okay, it's the fear of the unknown. People think, oh, yeah. And I mean, if you go back to the Bible, all right, the story of Adam and Eve, and the snake is what brought everything undone with the fruit. So it just goes back so far as you can remember, and as far as is recorded, snakes are always typical, the typical bad guy. They're really not. I mean, I've got snakes. I keep snakes. I've got venomous snakes, and I've got pythons, and they're some of the most amazing creatures. All right. Yes, there's some bad ones, and you get bad-tempered call-outs where you can't get near the bloody thing and it wants to kill you. All right. But that only goes down, those particular snakes that are trying to kill me when I get there. All right. The actions of the people before I've got there, and it might not necessarily be the person that's called me, but that snake might have had bricks thrown at it, or it's been chased through a couple of properties. So all of a sudden, the fear that we fear, they feel the same. You know what I mean? So they're just trying to get away and do their own thing.
I hear you, mate. Tell me a war story, whatever that means to you. Tell me about a challenging snake, a prospect you had to try and catch.
Look, every job is different. The worst one I done actually doesn't involve a snake. Okay, we were out, and it's well publicised. It's been on my page. The worst one was when I got bitten by a feral cat. So I got called out to a property in Hoppers Crossing. Suspect of a snake. And while searching the property, I moved some junk out of a corner, and there was a feral cat there with some kittens, and it actually launched at me when I disturbed it, obviously to protect its kittens. And instinct, it jumped at my face, and I put my hand up in front of it, and it actually bit me on the hand. And we wrestled for a bit. It didn't want to let go. I didn't want to let go because it bit me, so I wanted to get one up on the cat. It's as funny as it sounds. I ended up in hospital, and I was about 12 hours from losing my arm because it got so infected. I spent 4 days in hospital with that one. So that one was the scariest moment. there was one, and in 10 years, I can tell you, I've only ever, and I'm not even 100% sure if it was a snake that bit me, but I've only ever been bitten once. All right, and again, I didn't see the snake bite me, but we were trying to catch a snake in a garden, and there was a lot of prickly plants in the garden. You know, there was a rose bush and some other stuff that had prickles, and you know, during the course of the catch, after I caught the snake, and I was walking back to the car, I noticed on my left index finger there was a couple of holes with blood. And, you know, we threw caution into the wind, ambulance was called, but there was no envenomation. So there was no sign that I'd been bitten. But I still to this day don't know whether I'd been bitten by a snake or bitten by that snake, or whether it actually, you know, pierced my hand on a rose bush or something.
Yep.
So,
Gotcha.
yeah, still to this day, I don't know. So I'd say maybe that snake did bite me, but I can't be 100% sure.
Cool. So just on that, I just want to make sure we address this. Let's say someone was bitten. What's the best go-to strategy?
All right. So again, it all comes down to calmness. Okay. When you're bitten, the more calmer you are, okay, the less you panic, the less that venom is going to spread through your body. All right. So as little movement as possible. Obviously, make yourself safe, and then sit down, call an ambulance. If you've got, if you've got somebody with you and a bandage, we recommend using a bandage a compression bandage to actually bandage up the limb, and wait for the help to come to you. Don't try and walk or drive yourself to the hospital. The more you move, the more the venom spreads through the body, and it doesn't actually, you know. There's a lot of people say, oh, yeah, you just cut the wound and suck the venom out. It doesn't work that way. The venom doesn't go into the bloodstream. It goes into the lymph nodes, okay? And it doesn't matter how still you need to be moving. If you move a finger, that lymph liquid actually moves through your body. So you need to be as still as possible.
Yep, absolutely. And, you know, if you've completed your basic first aid training, you know, apart from what Stewy's just described there, obviously you'd call 000 or just report. Make sure you just call for help, basically.
Absolutely. The less you move, the better.
Perfect. So with that, I just wanted to transition over to some quickfire questions, mate. So a bit of lighthearted banter. So pick one or the other. Would you go to the beach or the trees?
Trees.
Yeah, I would have thought so. And would you prefer a night out or night in Netflix?
Oh, look, both is fine. I mean, at the moment, we can't really go out, so we're getting used to it. So I'm dying to get out and go to the pub, you know, just to socialise with people.
Where's your local pub? Which one's your local you enjoy?
Usually we go down to Tigers Clubhouse.
Oh yeah, cool. Good spot there. Nepal or New York?
Ooh. I'd love to see both.
Yeah,
but probably Nepal. I'd say.
Yeah,
see what's lying under those, on those mountains and that.
Cool.
There'd be some interesting wildlife out there. That's for sure.
100%. This one I think is already going to be answered. Country acreage or inner city loft?
Oh, country acreage in a heartbeat.
100%. I'm with you there as well. Ford or Holden?
Holden.
Okay. And if you were to pull your phone out and you pop it onto, say, Instagram, is there someone that you're following that's really interesting, maybe for a laugh and a giggle, or is there someone in the field that you're in dealing with wildlife? Who do you follow?
My Instagram is a business Instagram, okay, and it's followed by many different reptile enthusiasts. But to have a laugh, Tiger King memes. Love it.
Yeah. So Tiger King, I think we just have to point people towards Netflix. They don't just have to watch the program.
Oh, you have to watch it. I mean, it's very, very, very similar to the reptile kingdom, the reptile world.
Wow.
I've been through, I've just come out of a court case against another competitor who, it's the Tiger King all over.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Man,
So,
okay, that's heavy. So I can understand why you want to have a laugh.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool, Stewy. We're heading down the home stretch, mate. So in these last couple of minutes, I'd just love to give you the microphone, mate, and give us a chance to understand a bit more about what you're up to. Any more information you'd like to share with us?
Yep. Look, it's simple. I mean, I'll go over our business. So what we do, we come out to your properties, catch snakes, relocate them to make, you make your pets and your family safe. We also do education. Okay, so we try and educate as much as we can. Kids need a lot of education. We do birthday parties as well. So, if you've got if you want a reptile themed birthday party, we bring out crocodiles, snakes, lizards, dragons, and the kids can hold them, touch them, play with them, pat them, everything. So it really brings the wildlife, right there in front of the children. They can touch it. We do a lot of, we do a lot of birthday parties and that like that. At the moment, we've been shut down, but we're hoping to kickstart that again very shortly. Once we can get up to 20 or 30 people together in the one area, then we can really start doing our birthday parties and bookings again. But, awesome. Again, it comes down to, if you see a snake, just keep safe, just keep a safe distance between you and the snake. It's not going to attack you. All right. Snakes play a vital role in our ecosystem. All right. One snake can control up to 10,000 vermin species a year. Rats, mice, up to 10,000, one snake. So for every snake that we kill, you're not only endangering yourself, but you're also, giving the green light for these rodents to take over. And I know, mouse plagues and rat plagues, just not good.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we're all one system, really, and we all got to rely on each other, and the snakes have their own part of the system, important part. So, man, that's...
Absolutely.
This has been really educational for me. Like, I've got to have a look at the back here because you've got to have a cape somewhere there, or at least your jock's on the outside.
No cape, mate. No cape.
No, this has been awesome. I guess the last thing that I have to ask is, do you service like all around Melbourne, or you're mostly over this side of the West Gate?
I'm located in Werribee, all right, but I've got catchers situated pretty much all over the shop. We've got catchers located up near Warrnambool. So I've got a catcher up in Warrnambool. I've got another catcher that can catch snakes in Bendigo. So our main work is down here, but if you ring me and we don't service the area, we endeavour to find you somebody ASAP that can. We've got a big network. All our snake catchers all know each other. Now there's some catchers that work well with others and some that want to be, the bee's knees of snake catchers. We just work well with others. It's not about how many snakes we catch. It's about every snake that we catch, or that it's relocated, makes one person in that community safe.
You're the man, bro. This is awesome. So what I'd like to share is your handles. So on Instagram, you can find Stewy on Stewy_snake_catcher. We'll link all that to this podcast. Yep. And if there's any other information, I'll grab that off Stewy and we'll pump it up on our email chains and all our socials. But I just want to give you a big shout out to you, Stewy. Like, you answered the call. I just shot you a random Instagram message and you're good enough to just sit down and give me a half an hour of your time.
No problems, mate. It's all about the community, mate. So, if one person takes something away from this and they learn something, then, we're happy.
Man, awesome. All right, Stewy, I'll let you run away to your day and we'll catch up down the track. I'd love to revisit this maybe in 6 to 12 months and just catch up for a chat.
Absolutely. Well, next time we do it, hopefully we're out of lockdown, mate. You can come to me and we'll even get some snakes out and crocodiles and whatever, and we can put some animals up as well.
Mate, I'm up for that.
As you can see, they're all behind me here. So
Jeez, my hands are sweating. I'm up for it. I'm up for it.
Nah, no worry. Well, there's a glass barrier there, and then we can go past that if you're up for it.
Man, you're the man. Awesome. I'll definitely
No
tear that up,
problem.
Stewy. All right. Enjoy your day. Thank you very much.
No worries. Thanks for having me on.